Now, I came across this conversation briefly. I think it was on another parenting podcast, or it might have been a YouTube video that I saw. And funnily enough, there were kids talking about how they were so devastatingly embarrassed if they were a packed lunch kid. Or they call themselves lunchbox kids.
I was a packed lunch kid.
So my question to you for today's episode, or this week's episode, Jamie, is what was your ultimate packed lunch for school?
I'm going to have to ask my mum this. I can't remember.
You can't remember?
I was always jealous of the kids that had school dinners, though.
This is the thing. This is the thing. So kids tend to look at the kids that have packed lunches and say, "How you're missing out. You're not having school dinners." So actually, the school dinners is always like the pinnacle of, I get to eat hot food at school, I think. So then people that have packed lunches are considered the losers or something.
No.
So
That was the opposite.
Well, this is supposedly what the situation is right now. So
It was like you've got too much money if you have a packed lunch. That was the.
I thought it was the other way around. Your
No.
parents are paying for you to have school dinners, so then you can afford school dinners rather than a packed lunch. I thought that it was the other way around.
Yeah, but I remember Smileys, potato Smileys, and I always wanted potato Smileys.
Well, I think my ultimate packed lunch when I was younger would probably be the fruit. I would have gone for a banana because cleanest to eat and sweet. They're good. I don't know anyone who had like
Do you know when?
blueberries and strawberries in their packed lunch. It was
No.
always a banana, an apple, or an
But
orange.
avocados came to this country much later, and same with bananas. Let's estimate. When did bananas come to the country?
What?
Yeah,
When did
go
they
on.
come to the
Yeah.
UK? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say because you said late, I'm gonna say like 1928.
I'm gonna say 1968.
Oh, okay. I've gone 28. You've gone 68.
Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. In 1897.
Barney wins. Booyah! I will take that. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
now
1898. Probably later. Yeah, 1925.
But we didn't have it. Do you remember eating avocados when you were younger?
No, not really. I didn't really eat avocados. No, not when I was younger. But they became popularised in the UK because of, bougie smashed avocado
And what
with
did you
poached
say?
eggs. 1925.
Okay. 1968.
Oh, damn!
Marks and Spencer's claim they introduced avocados to the UK and stocked them as avocado pears.
Avocado pears.
they
It's
were
just because of the
called.
shape, right? Because it's around the shape of a pear.
Isn't that mad though that we didn't have
Interesting.
avocado? But I don't remember them being so popular until we were older.
That is actually nuts. I love it though. I love learning new information. I like absorbing new facts and
Yeah,
figures.
me too.
But I'm still going with my packed lunch. So I would say a chicken salad sandwich, a piece of fruit that would have probably been a banana, a Ribena carton or a Capri Sun, blackcurrant flavour, obviously. And I think back then, annoyingly, this wasn't my favourite thing. It would have either been a club bar or penguin. It would have been one of those two.
Oh
but
my
I
God,
didn't.
penguins with the joke on the end.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
I
they were
didn't
the best.
actually like either of them really to taste, but it was a chocolate, and a chocolate is chocolate. What about you?
We have a lot of Americans that listen to the show, so they're probably like, what is a penguin?
It's like a chocolate biscuit bar, and they both are. Club bar's the same. Club bar looks like a Yorkie, but it's got biscuit inside.
I believe mine, I had like a chocolate bar, I had a piece of fruit, and it was normally like a green apple. I've always been a big fan of green apples. My parents were never into like processed meats. Like I never had like a ham sandwich or anything like that. It was either...
You still hate ham.
It was like fresh chicken
Bougie
with mayonnaise in a sandwich, and it was...
Chicken mayo sarnie, okay.
I was always jealous of the kids that had white bread. I never had white bread. We always had brown bread. Like it was always
Healthy.
quite healthy.
Brown bread, chicken mayo.
I'd always have a packet of Walker's crisps.
Oh, I forgot about the crisps.
And
Prawn
I'd-
cocktail was always my go-to.
And I'd take the crisps and put them in my sandwich.
Fair play. I like that.
Yeah.
Spud for that one.
And that would be my packed lunch. Sandwich, fruit,
Crisps.
chocolate bar and crisps.
What about the drink?
Ooh,
Did you ever get a drink, or did you have to get water at school?
I think I got Ribena.
That's always the
remember.
one.
And
Ribena is
some
the
water.
boss.
But we never had squash at home either. We weren't allowed
We
squash.
didn't really either. I think on occasions we would have Ribena, like the big bottle of Ribena that you would just add for squash.
I tell you what,
but
there
not
was
normally.
a big thing in my family: peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We'd always have
You're
that in
such an
sandwiches.
American.
I know, but that's because my mum's Canadian. So my upbringing, I think, was influenced from that a lot more than the kids at school. Everything was so different. Our toothpaste was even different. Really strange. And then friends would come over and they were like, "I've never seen this toothpaste before."
Where would she buy it then? Would she go to like Costco or something?
No, we'd always get Pearl Drops.
No, but as in, where would she go to get it? In order to like buy an American brand, where would you go to go and buy
You
that?
could get it in
Oh, you
Tesco's.
could. It just wasn't like
Yeah.
Aquafresh or Colgate, basically. Oh, interesting.
Really strange.
I've never seen that before. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Damn. Questions from the audience. We finally have some, Jamie.
Oh my God.
Get them up
okay.
right now.
Right. So the first one I want to actually go with, one of the questions is somebody asked about what product to use to get out stains in baby clothes because they get very dirty. So
We have one.
we used, what did we use?
Nappy-san.
Nappy-san, exactly. Nappy-san was really, really good. It's a little bit like Vanish, but I think it's a bit more powerful than
Really?
Vanish.
Even more powerful? You would think that like on baby products it would be, softer to the touch or maybe like more for sensitive skin so it wouldn't be as strong. But it's
Yeah.
actually stronger.
So apparently so, but there's another one called Shout, which is really, really good as well. That you can give a go. We've got both. We've got Shout but I haven't. Shout's brand new.
Yeah.
I've never used it before, so we're going to give that a go this week. But that's a good product
Okay.
for new parents if you're looking for something to get out of stains, and also it's not just the baby getting dirty. You get dirty as well. The baby touches everything. We've used Shout on the couch actually on our velvet couch, and it's worked.
Oh, well, if it's worked, then bish, bosh, bash. I have a message from, or a question, in fact, from Casey on TikTok.
Okay.
Casey has asked, how do you keep your relationship stable with a baby? Me and my boyfriend are struggling. Also, how do you keep things spicy? So I would say, thank you very much for the question, Casey, first and foremost. I would say, yeah, we go, like you were going to say, I believe, we go through, peaks and troughs of spiciness and keeping things stable. The difficulty with, I think, keeping the relationship stable and keeping it spicy at the same time as well, with the baby is just sleep. It's lack of sleep. So not having enough sleep and not being well rested enough for your body and your mind causes such a domino effect into everything else in your life. You can't concentrate as longer. You don't have any energy. You don't want to cook. You struggle at work more because you don't have the brain power. You can't get up early enough. And it just has this knock-on effect of so many things. And so if you can get to the stem of the issue, and if the stem of the issue is lack of sleep, which I think a lot of the time it is, then really try and focus on getting as much sleep as you can. Maybe try and incorporate some form of naps into your routine, and also work together. Say, right, you go and have a nap. I'm going to look after this side of things for now. And then when you're well rested, you'll be in a better mood and you'll be more likely to kind of tackle things head on in the right way.
Also, figuring out when you want to be connected. For instance, I'm not a evening person. I don't want him to touch me in the evenings. I'm so tired. By the evening, I'm like, just give me a bed. I just want a bed and I want to sleep. So that's another thing. We have to juggle when we have energy. Like in the mornings, I have energy, you don't have energy. So I'm not going to jump on you in the morning. So I feel like our time's probably mid-afternoon time.
Midday sex. Midday sex.
But the thing is, because we're so busy at the moment, we don't tend to do it. But as much as you don't want to have to do the conversation and go, we need to find time, you got to just do it. And we often find
scheduled sex, always the best.
No, but we often find that if we do it, we then want to do it more than if we don't do it for ages. It doesn't entice us to want to do it because
It's
we're
like
just like
sleep breeds sleep, sex breeds sex.
It does. I love that.
Yeah, sometimes we get into into the rhythm of things, and also, like I said, I think that if we're both exhausted, I'm an evening person, you're a morning person, we can't find the right time to do it. I don't put so much pressure on yourselves as well. Really talk to each other about it, communicate well, and then you'll find a solution, Casey.
Last week I asked, what product would you take into your next pregnancy? And talking of sleep, somebody said Beauty Sleep Concentrate from Neil's Yard.
Oh.
So mothers-to-be, if you're out there, go get some Beauty Sleep Concentrate from Neil's Yard. Actually, that sounds quite good. I might get some of that.
Yeah, we should get some and pump it into our room and see if it actually helps.
Yes, it's called Beauty Sleep Concentrate.
Beauty Sleep Concentrate. Let's look that up. Right, we got Lene on TikTok who sent us a nice little question poser. Why did you decide to do social media?
Oh, well, actually, funnily enough, looking back at all of the last 7 years of us in a relationship, we've always recorded everything.
Yeah.
And we've always wanted to start doing social media. We never found the time. We always got distracted. Something got in the way, whether it was work or anything. And then I feel like when we had a bit of time to breathe, when we had the baby and we were just at home with him, we had a bit of creative space to just start being silly in front of the camera. And because it was so authentic to how we are actually, I think things become successful when you are being authentic.
I agree. I think that, like you've already mentioned, we're both self-employed, but both of our jobs kind of in some way or another require you to do or to be active on social media. So we've both always been active on social media for our own accounts, for our own reasons. Jamie with her DJing and everything else that she does, me with my presenting and modeling and dancing and everything I've kind of done since the age of like 21. So since then, I've been active on social media. So it didn't really change when we became parents. The only thing that changed was I started a TikTok. And then because the TikTok did quite well, it then allowed us to think, right, we can now give ourselves a certain amount of time to actually spread our wings into other elements of social media like YouTube, like podcasting and things like that, and actually be a bit more consistent with it, have a schedule. And then we just want to see where it goes, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. And we really enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
The moment you stop enjoying it, it's kind of time to stop, isn't it?
We'll go through phases where we're more we're more driven than other times. And it's weird because our agent said it to us the other day. She said, if you're not enjoying this, just take the foot off the gas a little bit.
Yeah.
But you get scared. You do get scared to do that because it becomes a business and you don't want to just put it on hold. But we do enjoy it. We really do.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part.
Do you have another question?
I do. I have a few topics.
Whoa. What's the topic, Jamie?
The best time to have your second child? ?
When is the best time to have your second child? I mean, I guess everyone does it slightly differently. You don't really want your 2 kids, if you're going to have 2 or 3 or 4, you don't really want them to be super spread apart in terms of age. You'd like them to be at least similar, like 2 years. So if you wanted them to be 2 years apart, that means after a year and a half, you then start trying for your second.
Technically, yeah. Or like you don't want 2 under 2. Or somebody gets pregnant really, really quickly.
Yeah.
That's another risky
You're
thing.
extremely fertile after you've had your first child, or after you've had a child, by the way, people.
But
just
everybody
so
I
you know.
ask who's had that situation, they're like, actually, it's okay. And then I then go, do you want a third? And they go, absolutely not.
2 under 2
you've just
is enough to drive you insane.
Yeah, you've answered your question there. Thank you for that. But I don't think I would want 2 under 2. I really don't think I would want that.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy. But I'm an only child, so I'm going off that. I would love to be pregnant again. I really enjoyed it. And I'd love to I would love to have a baby to be able to experience the stuff I missed on the first. I was so quick to go back to work. I didn't take it all in. And I remember your mum even saying to me, being like, you might regret always racing back. And I felt like I didn't have a choice, because we needed to pay the bills. The problem is
you also didn't want to lose your relevance in the industry that you worked so hard to grow a brand in as well.
It's hard to just stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
But props to all the mothers that give 100% to the baby in the first few months, because you do regret it if you don't do that. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I regret it a little bit. But we were talking about this the other day with a mate, and we were saying that the government make it so hard to not, like back in the day, one person's income was enough to be able to keep the household afloat. Nowadays, we're living in a time where 2 parents have to work, otherwise you don't have enough money to pay the bills. Isn't that awful? Yeah. But the government are trying to help. They are. You can go on the .gov website and there's loads of things to help it. But the problem is, I find it, if you're earning enough money, they're like, what does your partner earn? And I'll put what you're earning, and then I don't get anything if I've had a bad few months. And it doesn't really tend to work like that. We both have to pay our gas bills. We both have to. It's just hard. It can be really hard.
It can be. I have a a question from Tyler Music saying, did your own upbringing impact the way that you parent? I would probably say Yeah, because, nurture and nature both play a huge role in who you are as a person. So I feel like I'm an extension of the way that my parents brought me up. Both my parents were very loving and very caring people. Also, quite neurotic in some ways, or maybe a bit OCD in other ways. So I guess that kind of rubs off in its own way. But then you also have to remember that the way that current parenting or coping with pregnancy and everything like that is taught nowadays is very different to the way that it was when they were pregnant or when they were kids with little ones as well. So as nature-wise, as everything is evolving, we're kind of learning how to improve, and we're learning that different parenting skills have different impacts on children as they grow up. But then also I have that nurture inside of me of, this is how my parents did it, and so I feel like I turned out okay, so I would like to instill that upon my kid as well, or at least, use that as a guidance. So I feel like it has impacted me as a parent quite a lot.
Oh, yeah, I feel the same. And also, a lot of people I know, if your parents do some things that you don't like, you kind of work towards not doing the same thing that your parents did. Like, for instance, I love my dad so much, but he doesn't give himself any, what's the word? Props?
Nutrition.
Exactly. So I'm really into my fitness, and he sees it as, you're gonna kill yourself, and I'm like, you've nearly killed yourself a multiple amount of times from having a heart attack,
not doing exercise.
So, dude, and then he's like, I just get out of breath doing everything. I'm like, because you don't exercise. He's like, no, that would kill me. And I'm like, yeah, because you didn't exercise. So I've gone opposite.
Yeah.
And I hope that my son will look at that and go, and then want to train. I look at my dad as somebody that was hardworking, and it makes me want to be hardworking as well. That's the one thing I did take from him. But what I am going to do differently is exercise.
Boom.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of take what you want to do and take what you don't want to do as well. Do you have any more questions? I've got one more.
Okay, same. Do you think you should, when
This is good so far.
I'm trying to word it because it's like,
okay,
be on the same page as your partner or not in front of your child. So,
oh yeah.
So never say things like, ask your father, or your child won't say, Daddy said I could.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, always be on the same page so they don't feel like they can play you off against each other as well.
So, for instance, if dad says no, it means no. If mum says yes, it means yes. You have to come. Like, if problem is when they get to a certain age, they'll come up to us and ask. A lot of parents will be like, I don't know, ask your dad. Or you can just be like, I'll get back to you on that. Let me speak to your father, and then we'll let you know.
You need to have a discussion, you need to come to an agreement, and you stick with that. There's nothing worse than a parent going behind the other's back to then try and almost garner favours.
It's the kid playing the parents off each other.
Yeah, but also the parents need to stay strong and then not double back on their promise. So if I spoke to you and I said, okay, Rocket is not allowed cookies after 4 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. one day you go, here's a sneaky cookie. You can't do that because then you're playing off against the other parent.
Guess who did that?
Who?
I love your mum, but she did that with the dummy. Do you remember? She was like, don't tell your parents. And we really got angry. She snuck
the dummy, yeah. And then I had to have words with her.
That was one thing that I think I was like, you shouldn't do that. We are the parents. Respect the boundaries. Respect each other's boundaries.
Respecting. Yeah. Oh, and my final question is from Diana, I believe. Sorry, I've just lost it. Diana, on Instagram, what was it like to become a father for the first time?
Oh.
Honestly, it's like... words can't describe it, and the only way that I can almost describe to you the way that it felt is for you to experience it firsthand. And Diana, that's not me saying that you need to become a father for the first time. Diana, that is me telling you to go and watch our... I know, exactly, that was the joke. That's me telling you, Diana, to go and watch our birth vlog that is on YouTube. I film it, and then you'll hear how I feel for the first time when you see Rocket being born. It's pretty special. And
it's one of the most special videos. It makes me want to cry.
There's some homework for you. It's pretty amazing. And it was a really good experience. I mean, good experience doesn't really come close.
I think that's one of the reasons why I want another baby so bad, because it was so beautiful. And
imagine you have a horrendous experience though in your second child. You'll be like, Fiddlesticks! Why did I do that again?
I just can't wait. I would love a water birth from home. I'd love to experience that next. I know you said this the other day, but you went, I'm really scared that if we had another baby, the next pregnancy won't be the same. So I really hope it will be, because I don't want it to take away what Rocket was, because it was so good.
It was good.
And it's very rare to get a birth like I had. It really is so rare. And so I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And I know it won't take away what we've experienced with his birth. But that's one of the scary parts of being pregnant again. Not having the same experience as the last time, because it was so special. But yeah, if you do want to see it, it's on our YouTube. We filmed the whole thing, and it's very raw.
This is fun, yeah. It's good. I feel like, as well, it's fear of the unknown. You don't know if it's going to go well, and you don't know if it's going to go badly. And because the first time went so well, you're kind of like, oh, I really don't want it to be worse, because I don't want it to taint your idea of, or your perception of birth. Because, yeah, we have such a positive outlook on birth right now. I wouldn't want that to change for either of us. But hey ho, who knows? It's always a bit of a coin toss, so it could end up being good. But yeah, I'm excited. And don't get upset. It's nice. Don't get upset. We had a great time. And yeah, those are happy tears, by the way, everyone, not sad tears. I think it's always really cute, though, that you have a really nice positive outlook on your birth story. But I never want you to get upset in the thought that the next time might not be as good. Because every single time that you give birth, it's a coin toss, let's be honest.
It is, but they say it's easier than the second time. Like, your body knows what it's doing.
Yes, definitely that. Yeah, I think the process is faster as well. So if you do have a home birth, you're probably bound to sort of do it on time, rather than your body going, what is going on?
I think ours would have seemed quicker if we weren't at the hospital so early. We went in about 3 hours after the contractions started. Normally you do that part at home. But the reason why we did that was because we were 2 hours from the hospital, and you just never know if you're going to be quick. So it took us 2 days, and people were going, wow, you were in labour for 48 hours. Well, technically I was, but technically you would have done that first day at home.
Yeah, exactly. And you are correct, and you are groovy, and I love you. And I think that this has been maybe a slightly more serious episode than our previous episodes. Normally it's all fun and fart jokes and poo stories, and this time...
You can't say that anymore. We've been told off for saying too many poo stories.
I know, your mum wasn't happy. We get private messages from Christine, the drama queen, about poo stories.
I'm not allowed to wear the same thing either.
Stop eating on the podcast.
I know, sorry.
You've just been munching chocolate this whole time. First of all, I'm very jealous because I'm hungry and I want to eat some of it. But I'm also a professional, Jamie.
I'm so excited for our Mexican tonight.
Oh,
so
mate.
Excited.
You go and get everything. Just make sure you get jalapenos, because I want a bit of spice for my stuff. Doesn't have to be for yours. We have nachos, quesadillas, tacos, whatever you want. But I'm starving, so can we eat early as well? I'll start cooking early.
Okay.
Because I haven't eaten lunch.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the pod. We're coming up to our... Oh, God, what are we now? We're on 6th, 7th. So we're on the 7th episode.
Oh, fast approaching episode 10, which will be our next guest. Woo!
So if you guys can say in the comments, who would you like to see on the podcast?
Ed Sheeran.
Who would you like to see on the podcast? Who would you like to delve into their parenting and come in and have a little sneak peek through the keyhole?
Oh, we've also noticed that a lot of you who listen to this podcast aren't actually following us. So please make sure you hit the follow button and give us a nice little rating on whichever platform you use to listen to this podcast. It would really appreciate it from our side.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Shush! Don't tell Mum.
Oh, wait, you've got to do your thing.
What?
Say a secret.
Sometimes, kids just do things. They hurt themselves, they scratch themselves, whatever. And what I find with babies is they have this tendency, right? They'll scratch themselves in the middle of the night. It happens to all of us. Rocket sometimes has really sharp nails, and I think he cut himself underneath his schnoz just here, right? And so what happened was, I'm playing with him, I'm joking around, I'm hanging him upside down, and I'm swinging him because he loves that, and he laughs his absolute head off. It's so funny. So I'm doing that, and I notice he's like, his hands are flailing everywhere. And what had happened is he had obviously cut his underneath his nose with his hand somehow. He'd like moved his hand up to his face and he had just gone like that, and it had caused like a little cut there. So by the time I've done that, playing with him and flipping back upside down, blood is like here coming out of his schnoz, and I'm like, oh my God, I've given him a nosebleed. I've shaken him when he's upside down and his brain is falling out of his nose. I don't know what's going on. Just turns out he had cut his nose with his own fingernail. So panic over. But yeah, don't tell mum. Shh, don't tell mum.